Hi everybody, welcome to Bajerski YouTube channel. It would be really interesting to find out how many other crystal healers talk about Cavansite as much as me over the 20 years and what their interpretation or their experience being a crystal healer on clients, what they got from it. That would be interesting. Do you know anybody? Let me know. So, I've just had some sloop. So, yes, all vegetables. Absolutely gorgeous. Anyway. A few of you were asking me to, a few of you said, why are your Cavansites so big? Because as a healer, we're used to bigger crystals to work with. So we work with them, it's easier to work with. We do have smaller pieces, and we do work with smaller pieces, so then we can just put them while the client's lying down nice and easy. With this one, it can fall and hit them in the eye. So normally we look for, on the smaller side to work on the third eye, nice and flat that way, so it would sit lovely, and then you can just continue the healing work and let the crystal do the work. But overall, a bigger piece like this is fantastic to work with. So as you're giving healing, you've got this in your hand, so you're actually receiving the healing from the crystal, which goes straight through and out here. So you've got a double whammy. So that's one of the reasons, and plus the fact I like nice big pieces as well. Look at the beautiful flower right there. This is the mother stone. Always keeping her in a lovely energy. I've got to admit, I love the mother stone. There's something uniquely beautiful and strong. And I think the resilience of the fear and the mind trying to hijack your true soul's purpose, which is to let go, move forward, and of course forgiveness. We forgive ourselves, we forgive others, and we can move forward. If not, we're stuck in a very dense and heavy, which does often cause a lot of mind issues, causes a lot of stress, causes a lot of physical issues. So yeah, here's another piece, and the Cavansite flower is right at the top there. Again, beautiful, perfect to work with. The mother stone is fantastic. So yeah, as I showed you, the flower, this is Cavansite from Pune, India. Absolutely gorgeous energy. One of the most beautiful energies in the world. I completely believe that this is the top 3 crystal in the world for sure. And the reason why is I've seen so many profound changes in clients when working as a full-time crystal healer. It was phenomenal. People that were stuck in so much trauma, drama, that after a healing session with Cavansite, and then they're walking out, and for the next 2 or 3 weeks they would contact me, maybe a day, and say, I haven't thought about this issue, and this is the first time I haven't thought about this issue in 2 years, 5 years, 20 years. And I wrote down forgiveness. So as a practicing healer, I thought it was important because my first mentor said, write everything down. And when I first handled a piece of this, I actually felt a deep sigh, a release of something that felt trapped. And it was like a deep breath and then an exhale. And I realized things weren't as bad. And at that point, I was going through, quite a bit of trauma. So I realized that there's something very special about Cavansite. So I wrote it down. Every time somebody got up, they felt better, and they felt, they often say, I feel peace, I feel at peace. But I think that the icing on the cake was the phone call or people coming back to see me. So that, yeah, you need to forgive. You need to forgive something, Lily. Seriously, girl. Hey, you tell him. For a little girl, she's got an amazing sound. It's so powerful. She scared a guy the other day. Absolutely bricked himself. She just barked from, it just came out of nowhere, and he was on his phone, just walking past, and he jumped out of his skin. I said, sorry, but it was funny. He was about 6'6". While she's barking, I'll just show you some of the beautiful pieces. So I sent these up, like, first of all, I'll go through maybe 100 to 200, and I'll just hold them and feel which I want to work with. And it's just a personal thing. I could have just taken them all, but sometimes I just like feeling them and just, oh, okay, that one's good. Or I'll close my eyes and just feel that one. And sometimes, you know, it's not about looks, you know, it's about the feel as a healer. If you're a crystal healer, you'll understand that. You can have the most ugliest crystal in the world and it can be the most powerful for you. So anyway, after choosing them, I worked with them for about 30 hours, and that's putting pure energy healing into them. And then I sent them to Bali. Look at the cat mounting them, that, and then this beautiful tea bar. Absolutely gorgeous. Really beautiful. Don't you just love uniqueness? How unique these are. Absolutely gorgeous. The blue is just, guys, it's just there, the Cavansite. And then the mother stone on there. They're gorgeous, lovely. So, yeah, put these down now. So, yeah, going back to healing sessions, I normally found that, you know, within a space of time, the client would contact me back, and whatever that issue was, whether they knew it or they didn't know it, they would tell me. They'd say, you know, I didn't realize I was holding on to so much, you know, suffering. And I realized one day, as I was, you know, holding my tektite, or it was around my neck, that I had a dog. And this is just memory coming back on one lady called Rose. And she said, oh, I thought I was over it. I thought I was over the pain and suffering of my doggy. And I realised I wasn't. I realised that I needed to forgive myself for putting my doggy to sleep, which a lot of people are stuck in that energy. And she said, I just absolutely released it and let it go, and things are a lot better, and I'm able to sleep more. Now that's just one, you know, experience, but there's so many others I had with people going through pain and suffering, with brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, children disappearing and not ringing them, and you know, this suffering and pain. And we need to learn to forgive. We need to learn to understand. And I think this crystal is definitely the crystal of forgiveness. And I love it to bits. And I don't know. It just serves its purpose so well. And I think we've been through a lot of pain in these past 5 years. We've been through a lot of frustration. We've been through a lot of heartache. We've been through a lot of fear. We've been through a lot of anger. And to forgive is important. Now, you're probably shouting now at the screen. My father was very abusive, okay? Very, very abusive. Very angry. When he got drunk, he was even worse. But his life was either anger or silence. And when I learned to forgive my dad, it wasn't a case of forgiving what he did. And it's really important you understand this. I don't forgive your actions, Father, but I forgive you. And that makes it easier for me, because I'm not forgetting what you did. I'll never forget that, because I will never do that to another human being. And I'm glad of the lesson in that sense. You would probably say, well, I don't think I'd have needed that lesson to not do that to anybody. So I get that as well. But when you do go through so much pain, you become a finely tuned empath. You vibrate at a frequency higher than most. And when you do vibrate at that, you learn so much quicker. You understand so much more. You look deeper than, like most people are so superficial, it's unreal, but you look deep. So you've learnt that through the experience of suffering. But we do need to let go of the cross that we carry for others' weaknesses, for other weaknesses of others. So Cavansite does that. Cavansite, for some reason, its frequency just naturally clears that trauma that sometimes you didn't even realize you still carry. And like I said, I forgive the past 5 years, but I won't forget. And I will always point the finger at people who told the world to go and do something that now everybody is realizing is the most horrific thing that is happening to many people now. So I'm not forgiving that. I just forgive me, the situation, what I went through, let it go. But I'm not going to forget what you did. And I'm not forgiving what you did. So there's a lot of confusion about forgiveness. And I find that Cavansite on the third eye, Cavansite on the temples, Cavansite on the heart, when working as a practicing healer, you find that it has a frequency, an energy wave that goes in and disrupts and clears away that trauma, that trapped negative energy, which is a memory, which if left can slowly turn into a toxic soup and then would create a very, very perfect environment for cancer. And what you find is your little fish cleaning your body, if it finds any kind of disease, any kind of chemicals, like you might rub sun cream on, when that penetrates through, your little fish go and get it. And it wants to put it in the garbage. It wants to find somewhere where the garbage is. Well, predominantly when you have a trapped energy, and a lot of the times it can be trapped in the stomach. That's why a lot of people get stomach cancers and all sorts of cancers. It can get trapped in the heart. That's why a lot of people have heart cancer around here. And in the mind, a lot of people have tumours in the brain. And that is because when you hold on to something that sometimes you don't even realise, it becomes a room, it becomes a space where it's toxic. So the fish automatically go to the stinky, smelly place, and you normally find that's where cancer starts to build. So they'll create a bubble or a sack, and they'll start putting all the garbage in there. So the more you get rid of your trauma, the more you get rid of pain, suffering, worries, weaknesses, when you get rid of anger, jealousy, rage, low self-esteem, all of those really weak things, when you can forgive, when you let go and move forward and say, where I am right now is where I'm meant to be, and where I'm going to be taken to is exactly where I'm going. Everything that I've been through is exactly as it should be. When you are allowed to let that go, and when this beautiful blue flower touches you, you find that this wave starts to hit the very place where the most dirtiest energy is. And it always comes with the trauma or the shock energy of what you've been through. It just blasts it away and it moves from the body. So I like Cavansite for all of those reasons. I've seen miracles with Cavansite. I've been blown away by a 1 hour, 20-minute healing session with Cavansite on the heart or the stomach or the third eye. And to this day, it's never changed. It's always been my top 3 crystal. And I love it. And I always go to it when I feel I just need to let go. I just need to move forward. I just need to feel better. And that's when I wear it. So if you see me wearing Cavansite, it's because it's time to let go of what I've been through or what you've been through. Okay, we've been through 5 years of this. It's time to let it go now. But then again, let me tell you, I'm not saying forget about it. We still point the finger. We still say it was wrong and remind people every day that you're not going to get away with what you did. because if we let them get away with it, guys, guess what will happen again? So Cavansite, my small collection here, which is the smaller pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 smaller pieces, then 1, 2, 3, 4 bigger pieces, and I think I might still have a few beautiful pieces on my website as well, holding crystals, as well as some beautiful spheres that I had mounted, as well as some beautiful pendants which are collect finish. So I hope you appreciate that. I hope I've done a little bit of beautiful justice to one of the most beautiful crystals in the world, in my humble opinion, as a crystal healer. Cavansite from Pune, India. Absolutely gorgeous. Have a great day. One link below, and I hope you appreciate this beautiful collection. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.